Right, let's get the golf shoes on, let's get out there because yes, I'm out in a van, I'm back up at Holywell Golf Club, the sun is shining and I'm about to test these three products that I have hit already on TrackMan and they perform incredibly well. So if you genuinely want really forgiving golf clubs that still have incredibly efficient ball speeds, so they're user friendly but they come at a budget price but without compromise, that's almost the summary done, you can go. If you want to find out a little bit more detail about why I think this lineup from TourEdge is so special, then stick around, I'll get the shoes on and we'll go and get on the fairway. So hopefully you're still here and are going to stick around for a little while longer, because one of the things I didn't tell you in that intro and perhaps you didn't spot is those three clubs are all very, very different and they're not your regular hybrids nor fairway woods, but I do believe that each one of them plays a significant part in helping you as an average golfer make this game just a little bit easier. Right, first of all, before we go any further, I've got a bit of a question for you, and it kind of relates to not just TourEdge but other brands that you mightn't be as familiar with, let's say. So a lot of people, when you review something that is a driver that's 500 quid, they comment that it's too expensive, the golf industry's gone mad, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But what I'll also say is, the minute you review something that's slightly less ordinary, a bit off the beaten track, then there is less interest, first of all, in the video. So lots of people, just by seeing the product that I'm reviewing in today's video, right at the very beginning, will have already switched off, believe it or not. And that's why it's very hard and almost contradictory that you review products, but then people say they want one thing, but then really they don't watch and actually want the other. So tell me, are you really interested in this kind of product, and is TourEdge of appeal to you? Because believe me, this is every bit as good as anything I've tested so far at a hugely different price point. That ball flight on these things is absolutely ridiculous. And I say these things, it's actually a little bit long, but we're really going to pay some great attention as to what this hybrid is in terms of the loft that's on it is the key factor for me and why it's one of the most impressive performers within this lineup. But before we go any further, I want to get to that price point. So let's stick up on screen now the prices of this TourEdge lineup versus some of its major competitors. And what you'll see is there is a huge difference in that price point that I'm talking about. So the obvious question is, what are the compromises that we have to make? Why is one brand charging such a significantly higher figure than the other? What are we losing out on with this TourEdge 725 lineup? So this is a prime example of why brands such as TourEdge still don't get the recognition, support and sales that they warrant, really, in terms of performance. Well, if you haven't got it, that's because most of us are like sheep and all we do is we follow those major brands, and unfortunately we can't break away from the norm. Can you believe I'm having to squint because the sun is in my eyes and it's just 8:30 here at Holywell Golf Club? Anyway, back to the TourEdge. What is the compromise? Well, first of all, let's just have a look at these things visually. Shelf appeal, in my opinion, looks superb. I was a big fan of the 725 Driner lineup, and again, this is sort of the visual is the same. The crown is probably as good as anything that's out there, maybe even my favourite crown address. I love that matte finish, anti-glare as I call it, perfect in today's sunshine. Profile of both the hybrid and the fairway wood is really nice, sit behind the ball really well, and I love this sort of very visible white lines within the face, which again for me, certainly when I'm looking at loft on the hybrids and fairways that we're going to talk about, then I can see that loft, I can see visibly on that face what it's presenting me, and it gives me a bit of confidence. So they look really good, so I'm buying in on that respect. But then what about the build quality? Well, first of all, we've got premium shafts in each of these, and as you can see from the way that it's been put together, there are no compromises. This is a really solid piece of kit, so we ain't losing out in build quality. We've got a really good looking product and we're saving a huge amount of money. So what about the performance? Oh, that is so good. The speed off the face as well, but what a ball flight that is. What a ball flight. It feels good, and when I talk about feel, I mean it sounds really good as well. And like I said, it's shot off the club face with a fairly effortless swing, and that's what's really interesting for me. Is we're talking about performance. I had these indoor on TrackMan. They performed incredibly well in terms of all attributes. Ball speed relative to club head speed being the main one. These all launch very well, and there's a reason for that as well, which I'm going to talk about, and the most important part of the video for me. So another tick in a box, performance. But there's one other element that I want to discuss that if you are considering the 725 lineup, to me you should pay huge attention to. Go, go. Oh, just a tad short. And look at that kick away and off. That's why I love Holywell. I just wanted to mention that I hit 2 balls, the first one being this yellow one here, but I forgot to press record on the camera. The reason I'm telling you that is because it was great to see 2 balls land in such close proximity and that consistency off the club face. Just a pity my wedge game wasn't, well, it was only a yard out, to be fair. What's super impressive, and like I said, I doubt we'll pick it up, is the ball flight is ridiculous. So the clubs you see me hit in today's video are a 5 hybrid, a 3 fairway wood and a 5 fairway wood, but the thing we need to pay attention to is the loft of each of them. 25 degrees on the 5 hybrid, super versatile club. I'm a real champion of hybrids with loft. This thing does it incredibly well, and if you want to try a foot into this kind of lofted hybrid marketplace, then at this price point with that kind of performance, it's an obvious way to go. The second thing is the fairway woods. They're 3 wood, well, the model I've got at least anyway is a HL version, and it's 16.5 degrees of loft. That's the tee shot I just hit. Ball flight is insane, very easy to pick up, and all of a sudden becomes a 3 wood that golfers can actually make use of. And then there's that 5 wood at 18 degrees, which, to be honest with you, not too dissimilar performance wise from that 3 HL. But these products are much more versatile and much more user friendly because of that loft that they provide, and each of these 3 could find their way into any of your bags and go up against any of the clubs that you have currently bought and purchased at probably a much higher price. Right down the throat of it. My bag fell over, and clearly that is my favourite club within this lineup, but then it is my favourite club within a lot of lineups. That is the 5 hybrid. Super versatile, super easy to play. Please don't continue to ignore these things for long iron alternatives. Probably also worth noting that that swing and that strike was absolutely dreadful, and the thing still performed and got to the green. That for me is real world forgiveness. That's what it looks like. Forget TrackMan data. You hit a pretty crap shot and you get away with it. Kind of forgiveness I like. Well, we even made it to the back tier. Unfortunately, I don't have me putter with me. Decent pace, wasn't it? I think that's time to call it a day. We'll leave it there, and like I said at the beginning of this video, there are products out there that can save you a huge amount of money with no compromises to be made if you actually want them. My question is, do golfers really want them, or is it just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure they do, but anyway, that's the TourEdge. You try them, have a good look. There's a C model and an E model. The difference between the 2 predominantly is about adjustability. The C model is probably aimed at the better player and intended to be a little bit lower spinning, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. The fact is, go and give them a try for yourself, and as ever, come back, let me know what you think, and I'd be happy to get some feedback from any golfers that have got the TourEdge lineup in the bag. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all soon.